When was the last time you got a postcard from God? Can you even imagine what that looks like? What it sounds like? What it appears like? Remember postcards? You know, the gift of a postcard is that someone wrote it way before we even received it, but intended for us to receive it. Abraham, Lech Lecha me'artzecha me'uladcha me'bet avicha. Abraham is called out to leave his home, his inheritance, to a new land. That's a postcard. The Torah is a postcard. Every verse is a postcard. And we know it that Abraham, first he hears God call out to him, and then only afterwards he sees the machazeh, the image, the vision. Versus, for example, Moshe Rabbeinu, first he sees the burning bush, and only afterwards he hears God's name. Sometimes there's an image that calls upon us. Sometimes there's a voice that calls upon us. What is your modality that you walk in the world and experience God's presence, God's postcards? So I want to offer you, as Rashi brings in, and so many times we go straight to Rashi, but here, lehanatcha veletovatcha. Lech lecha, why does it not only say lech, just go? Why to you? Rashi says for your pleasure and for what is good for you. And later commentaries, the Bartenura and the Or Chaim HaKadosh, holy mystic of the 18th century in Yerushalayim, they speak of this quality of pleasure, this quality of actualization. So not only is it good for you, but you can actually actualize it in the world. And when we're looking at ways to think about how we would recognize a postcard that is for us, for each of us individually, I'd ask us to think about that element of pleasure, because as human beings, we need to experience pleasure in our lives. And then the question of how can I actualize it? I want to add, lastly, that the Kedushat Levi, Reb Levi Yitzchak of Berdichev, in the 19th century, he says, Lecha levadcha, to you, levadcha leshorshecha. I also want to say that these postcards are very private. They're between us and God when we receive it and when we read it. Then we're invited to share it in the fruit of our actions and our perception of the revelation. Shabbat Shalom.